Good afternoon folks, it's Les from Orchid Species. Today we're going to be repotting a Phalaenopsis. In this case it's a variety called wiganiae, which is a hybrid of Schilleriana and Stewartiana. It has lovely pink flowers with a speckly lip, and it also has these lovely mottled leaves, as you can see. Quite purple as they first come out, and then it fades to a silvery green I suppose, and a dark green. As you can see, it's become quite overgrown. We've got roots all over the place, and it's pushed itself out of the pot vertically, which is usual with a Phalaenopsis. They'll push themselves up and out and sideways, and they'll grow at all kinds of angles. We've even had to prop it up with a stick. So the first thing we're going to do is remove the old compost in the pot, so I'll just shake that off. Now you could use the original pot, to repot it in, but what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be using a nice new clean one. Now also what I'm going to be doing is removing the old dead roots. There's a few dead ones here, look, as you can see. You can tell the difference between a dead root and a live root quite easily. When you see a dead one, it's usually brown like this, and sometimes you can just pull it gently and you'll end up with like a wire on the inside, almost like electrical wire, and this is a live one. So we'll go ahead and remove the dead roots. Just grab my scissors, and all I'm going to do is chop these off towards the top of the main stem, as you can see, like that. It's a simple process, and it's important to do this because these will only rot away, and they could cause a problem for the rest of the root system, so you don't want to be messing about with them. Take off this old flower stem, same idea. Now the rest of the roots that are on there are perfectly good. So what I shall do now is actually position it, get rid of these dead ones, position it with the roots, including the roots that were outside the pot. I shall be putting those in the compost as well, or the bark. Speaking of which, the bark I'm using today is 12 to 18 millimeter particle size, and it's straightforward plain orchid bark. Now I'm using a 15 centimeter pot because it's quite a large plant. Normally a Phalaenopsis would grow in a 12 centimeter pot or a 15 centimeter pot. When you come to repot a Phalaenopsis, you're not potting it up into another pot because it's got bigger, like a traditional house plant. What you're doing is changing the compost that it's sat in. That's the real main purpose of repotting Phalaenopsis, is to change the compost and reposition the plant so it's a more aesthetically pleasing shape. So we'll fill that back up. Give it a rattle as you're doing it, and that will fill in the gaps between the roots, which have formed a kind of a cage. Give it a tap, that'll help it settle down. It'll align the particle bits. Give it a good prod. As we've said before, you can't really over firm this material because the particles are so large and hard. Make sure that that's nicely in. Now I'm using bark because it allows plenty of air movement around the plant, but it doesn't hold too much water. I tend to avoid the stuff where it's compost, which is usually a mix of bark and peat, or bark and coir, or other materials. It's not such a good idea with them, because they can get a little bit wet around the roots and cause a bit of rotting. So that's really the plant finished. Easy as that. It's a 2-minute job, and it's something that I would undertake. Normally I would do that probably once every 6 months or so. And again, like we've said, it's not because the plant needs a bigger pot, because often it will go back into the same pot or the same size pot. It's really to refresh the compost that it's sitting in, or the bark that it's sitting in, and that will usually encourage growth almost immediately, so it'll recover from this pretty quick. And that concludes that. These pots are available from our website, orchidspecies.co.uk, and they also appear on the link that you can see at the bottom of the screen. Don't forget, check out the other videos. We've got videos on orchid seed sowing, orchid multiplication, replanting, transplanting, etc, etc. Hope you enjoyed that. Have a good day.